man, Dave. Well, first up today, this young adult novel, God Awful Loser. It's a modern-day mythology about Cupid.
Yes, and its author is face that many loyal TMJ4 viewers recognize. It's Silvia Acevedo. Good to see you.
How are you?
It's good to see you too.
Back on the yellow couch.
Back on the yellow couch. Again, I love being here, so thanks for inviting me.
What's something that you think women do better than men or men do better than women? Did anything come to mind?
Yes, actually. I think we're more empathetic. We see other people's pain and we want to help them out. You know, we see someone fall down, we want to help them up, whereas guys might say, oh, suck it up, son, get up.
Yeah,
and,
walk it off.
And we're all like, oh, my baby. And we put a Band-Aid on them. And,
right.
Yeah.
So what does it say about the people that push them over?
Maybe I suggested you push them over.
Yeah. Well, if there's a lot of empathy, if you think that women have more empathy, what do you think about Cupid? Because this is where your book is focused on, is Cupid. What do you think of Cupid being a man, or a boy, I guess?
Well, my Cupid isn't the chubby pink little cherub you might be thinking, okay? My Cupid is grown, he's obnoxious, he's sloppy, he's egotistical, so he is not a very likable character at first.
Why write about mythology? I read a little bit about the background, but I'd love to hear you explain. Did you feel like this was kind of like a missing genre lately, in maybe, especially because your book is targeted toward young adults, teenagers, right?
I do feel it's being lost. My kids say that they didn't really study mythology very much in high school, and so I think it is a little bit lost, but I've always loved mythology. I've always wanted to write it, and who wouldn't want to? You have people with incredible powers. The gods have these incredible powers, and they are all so seriously flawed. They have ginormous egos. They have clinical neuroses. They have tremendous sensibilities, and you put them all together, and there's gonna be a lot of drama, and it's gonna be a lot of humor. So yeah, it was really fun to write.
I like that.
I used to love mythology, and I think a lot of people did, but you don't have to know a lot about mythology to love this. In fact, this is really for teenage boys and girls, and it's not a romance.
No, thank you for pointing that out. I think anyone would think it's a romance if you knew right away that it was Cupid, but there really is very little romance in it. This is fundamentally an action and adventure, and I tried really hard to put in a lot of humor, so when people read it, they do actually laugh out loud, so that's great. And that's important because I wanted boys to read it as well as girls. It is Cupid. His mother is Venus, the goddess of love and beauty. She makes an appearance. And so it's mentioned, there's a little bit in there, but no, there aren't pages and pages of romance, but there are pages and pages of action.
A lot of people know that your background is in news. I mean, that's how we know about you. You filled in here on The Morning Blend. You're an award-winning journalist. We're used to writing about the facts and what really happened. How do you transition then to writing fiction?
You know, actually, it was pretty hard at first. Like you said, news is very just the facts, ma'am. So you write objective fact and very chronological, and this is what happened, this is what happened, this is what happened. And in fiction, you have to flesh all that out and try to get into characters' thoughts and create characters and their voices. And so it was a little hard at first, but then once you get into it, I started it for fun. So once you get into it, it really does become just so much fun. And there were parts of it really that wrote itself.
And including the back, you've got some quotes on the back, and that usually people have like quotes from other authors or people things like that. You have quotes from the gods. Right?
I do. Well, because
what's your favorite?
They're so.
Should we read one of them?
Sure, go ahead.
One from Pluto, maybe.
One from Pluto. Let's see. There's one. Okay, Pluto, the god of the underworld, said this book sucks. I think that's hilarious. Well, I think that's great. Venus has a quote here. Mars. So you got Venus and Mars both represented there.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Well, Pluto would think it sucks because things didn't quite turn out the way he would have liked. Yeah. But actually, I love that quote because it gives some of the humor of the book. Kids are coming off of they're finishing up their school year, and in school they're required to read a lot of really heavy didactic reading, which is good. There's nothing wrong with that. But I wanted something lighthearted and fun, and this is that quote really shows the comedy that's in the book.
Yes. Is it going to be a series?
Yes, it hadn't intended to be at first. I had just planned on writing the one, but the characters were just so much fun, and they just spoke to me, and so I decided to write a second. I'm in the middle of the second one right now, which is going to be called God Awful Thief. And,
I like that.
And then the third book in the God Awful series is yet to be determined.
All right, here's the most important question. One is, have your kids read it? And number two is, do they like it?
Yes, my kids have read it, and they better say they like it.
How old are they?
18, 16, and 14.
Okay.
Yeah, but they did love it. Yeah. When my daughter was reading it, and when my son was reading it, and my eldest, you know, they come running back and they'd say, "Oh, I just read this scene, and I love that this happened." And you know, I think that's so weird because I've never gotten the chance to read a novel next to the author, or be able to run up to them and say, "Well, what did you mean here? Or what did this happen? Or oh my gosh, what's happening next?" And I just love being able to say, "Well, read, find out, keep reading. I'm not giving you any clues."
It doesn't change anything for you, the questions that they ask or the things that they say, and how maybe you'll continue the series?
They have tried to make suggestions for other characters that they'd like to see.
Yeah.
And luckily their suggestions go right along with my way of thinking. So
okay.
That is
train
awesome.
them well.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You have a book signing where people can
I
meet
do.
you, get a copy of the book, talk a little bit more about your launch. Is actually happening this Friday, May 8th at 7 p.m. It's at Boswell Book Company on Downer. You can go to SilviaAcevedo.com to find out more about God Awful Loser, to find out about the next book in this series, which is going to be God Awful Thief, and to just like pick your brain about it.
That's
I think
right.
That's great. Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks. There'll be chocolates, so come on down.
All right. That's awesome.
Perfect.
That's great.
Yeah.
Great
Thanks,
to
Silvia.
see you. Thanks
Thanks
so
so
much.
much.
See you.